What can be made of yesterday's attack of a Johannesburg Metro police officer by churchgoers? What are the law enforcers expected to do when their lives are in danger? And why is the Revelation Church of God defending its members for attacking a JMPD officer? Did the Revelation Church of God restrain its members from continuing with the assault of the officer? What time is it? It's question time. Khotsong and welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Tsedu. What are the dangers associated with the execution of city bylaws? The question is being asked following an attack of a Johannesburg Metro Police Department officer by members of a church. JMPD officers are reported to have been clamping illegally parked vehicles on Claim Street in Hillbrow. In a twist of events, an officer came under attack while a car of a member of the Revelation Church of God was being towed away. The church says the Metro officers were removing cars that were parked legally, illegally, and this enraged the churchgoers. A video on social media shows the officer firing warning shots in the air, that is, to restrain the group. That eventually overpowered and disarmed him. The severely assaulted officer was later rushed to hospital. Meanwhile, a congregant was later arrested after he took the officer's firearm to the Johannesburg Central Police Station. We are live, and therefore you can call us and air your views. The number to dial 089-110-4210. If you're outside the borders, +2789-110-4210. Our Twitter handle at QuestionTime24. My guest today, Chief Superintendent of JMPD, that's Wayne Miner. He's the spokesperson there. And Thembi Tulwana, she's the spokesperson of the Revelation Church of God. Let me welcome you, both of you, to the show.
Thank you.
Wayne, let me start with you. What happened from the police side?
Yeah, from the Metro Police side, I can say that officers were on duty and they were enforcing city bylaws, which include parking of vehicles which are illegally. And then the officers called for a tow truck or breakdown vehicle and started to hook up cars. And that's when congregants from the church came out of the church, and there was then shouting and shuffling and pushing of the officer and
assault.
An assault, yes. And then after the assault, the firearm taken, and one thing led to the other, and officers, then more officers came to the scene, and one of the church congregants went to the police station and handed in a firearm of the Metro police officer, who was then charged at a police station for being in possession of the officer's firearm. So I can confirm that 2 church members have been charged, one for possession of the officer's firearm and for assault, and also a female congregant for assault.
Did the person who brought the firearm to the police, is he the one who dispossessed it from the officer?
Look, at this stage, there will be an investigation to establish exactly what had happened there, to establish who can be charged for the disarming.
Now, is there something that you have observed over time, or was it a once-off, by-the-way thing?
No, look, the numbers of people attending that particular church has definitely increased over time, to a point that even sidewalks were blocked off for congregants to be able to observe or attend service from outside of the church, because the church was very full. So the numbers of the church have definitely grown over time.
All right. Now, ma'am, from the church's point, what happened?
Thank you very much. Just before 9 yesterday, a police truck came through to tow away any vehicle, I guess, that was illegally parked. Indeed, there was a car that was illegally parked, which was towed away and taken away, and the police left. Around 11:45, they came back with 3 trucks, 6 police people coming to clamp any car that was parked legally or illegally. And the people that were in the cars, because it was around lunchtime, and at that time, at that street, everybody is in the street, whether you go to church or you don't, for whatever reason. So the people said to the police, but you can't move me away from my car, I'm parked legally. One policeman said, but I'm doing my job, you can't tell me what to do. And it was a matter of saying, well, if it is your job, I know your job is not to remove people who are not doing anything wrong. Then one of the police people called somebody, and immediately another one came, the one that had a gun, just came out of his car and shot in the air. And people were then enraged, saying, now why are you shooting? Nobody is fighting, what is happening? And it is at that time when the whole mayhem began.
But what you're saying is not what we see on the video.
True.
No, the police officer who shoots in the air does not come out of a gun and shoot.
Okay, you wanted to know what happened.
Yes, but shall we also speak to the reality of the footage that we have? May I ask our director actually to just give us that footage so that we can talk to, if you could also give it to us here. Right. Now, you are saying these people are just seated, and this is the man you say comes out from the car and shoots.
Okay. Clearly,
right?
They are not seated. Yeah, I am telling you from the beginning of this.
Besides that, that police officer is being approached by a lot of people.
It was after he shot the first shot.
So
I'm not sure whether you know at what time he shot the first shot and what time he picked up his cartridge.
Okay.
And there were 3 shots that were shot. And at this point in time, it was after the first shot, and the people were saying, now, but why are you shooting? Go away. And I said to you, it is at that time where mayhem began.
So do you take responsibility as a church for the mayhem that occurred yesterday?
Definitely not. Remember, this thing happened in the street. It didn't happen inside the church. And I'm not by any means saying some of the people are not church members. It happened outside the street. And our stance as a church is that we condemn any activity that occurred yesterday. And anybody who broke the law should be faced by the law accordingly.
Okay.
Because none of those people were asked by the church to do what they were doing.
Edwin, you are in Tembisa, welcome. Yes.
What was Metropolis cause? Over 70 Metropolis via black people.
Okay.
And
all right.
Of which, just so I right, then you have balance, and then Babemo, or balance the what Tagamo, I think, and then come back to black, and then come away for sky.
Edwin, thanks very much for that call. Well, Wayne, the question is directed at you. He says you always pounce at black people, where there's whites you never do.
No, look, when officers enforce the city bylaws or officers enforce National Road Traffic Act, it's about acting on the offender or transgressor. So whether the car was owned by any other race group or nationality, that vehicle would have been impounded. And we want to condemn the action on officers performing their duty whilst in full uniform, where they are attacked or firearms removed. We condemn such action.
Yeah, but how do you expect us to respect you when you are being shoved and beaten up like that? People are just going to think, well, Wayne and his fellow officers are you know, just other ordinary human beings. We don't necessarily have to respect them.
You see?
You are losing our respect in the process.
Because officers, when they do their job, they do it in a process or in terms of standard that they were taught in the academy. They are taught to be respectful. They are taught to be firm.
That wasn't firm.
One event led to the other there.
Yeah, well, but finally the guy was down.
We will allow the investigation to continue, and we are going to allow the case to get to court, so that the processes will be unfolded.
Let's go to C Point. Is it Collins?
Hello.
Yes, Collins, welcome.
Good afternoon. How are you, Mpo?
I'm very well. Thanks for the call.
Oh, you got a wonderful emission. I'm already watching it. Huh?
No, thanks very much.
Okay, my question is straight to the lady.
Yes.
And then as a member of the church, Revelation Church.
Yes.
And then I'm so really disturbed about the attitude of the gentleman or the congregant or maybe the brethren who's pushing really somebody in uniform. And then if really the person was really the member of the church, he should know, even the pastor can preach, that when you see an authority, somebody with uniform, it's enough for you to give him all the respect that he deserves. Mm-hmm. And if you go even to the book of the book of Galatians, when it said Galatians 5:22, the fruit of the Holy Spirit is peace and joy. How can we come after this church and then suddenly we started pushing somebody who is in authority? Means that even if Jesus was also in front of you, you should have pushed him because Jesus was also part of the authority. This is really disturbing, and then I'm also shocked to see her there even speaking on behalf of the person who instigates something like that.
Collins.
It's really unfair. Myself, I'm a leader of the church. And then I saw it really unfair to someone who belongs to the church. Out of the church, what example is he giving to anyone who is watching maybe the footage? Which example is he giving to the person? Out of the church on Sunday, if the person is believer or non-believer, he must show the example. And authority, when you're already in uniform, police, he deserves all the respect that he needs to have for the peace to prevail. Like I said to you, Galatians 5:22, she can tell you what does it mean, that verse.
Thanks very much, Collins. I want us to take a quick break. When we return, we'll continue this discussion. 089-1104-210. This is Question Time.
If you strive to see further than what's in front of you, if you look past the next deadline, the next dollar, the next deal, well, then you'll see the bigger picture. You'll see the potential for growth and the possibility of harnessing energy from the sun. You'll lay a cable after you run out of land. You'll bridge the gap between past and future, and the distances that keep us apart. Because when you look at the world differently, you may just change it for good.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. We're talking the incident that occurred yesterday at the Revelation Church there in Johannesburg. And let's go to Cape Town. Who is on the line? Is it Kenneth?
Yes.
Welcome.
Yes, well, good tempo. I'm not sure with the lady from that church what is she talking about when she says the cars were parked outside. Do they park their cars inside at the church? Should the cars for those congregants sit next to the pastor? I'm not sure. They must take full responsibility. Their members were really aggressive to a state person who is working. I don't think it's fair for the JMPD to face such people who say they are doing the work of God. They must face the harshest sentences. They were at work, that they were illegally parked. They should have done it the other way. There's no action which will justify their action.
Kenneth,
Thank you.
thanks very much. Ma'am, as a church, have you reviewed this video?
We have.
Do you know the people on that video?
We know some, not all.
Okay, and they are your members?
The ones I know are members. For instance, the lady
Okay.
is our member.
What are you going to do?
In terms of what?
How are you going to deal with them and this behavior?
Okay. As I indicated earlier on, if anybody crosses the law,
Yes.
the law will have to take its course.
And in this case, you don't think the
The
law
law-
was crossed?
I'm saying to you, if anybody
Yes.
crosses, anybody, yesterday, any other day,
Yes.
crosses the law has got to take its course.
All right. Now, let's talk about yesterday.
Yes.
I hear that any day, whenever, the law must take its course.
Yes.
Let's specifically talk about yesterday.
Yes.
Was the law crossed according to you?
According to me, the law was crossed in more ways than one.
Okay.
The law was crossed by people who accosted the police. The law was crossed by the police who actually shoot and raise people, causing havoc that was not supposed to be caused.
But why don't you hit a warning shot?
The question is, when do you hit the warning shot?
Any
What-
time.
No.
When a warning shot is
No.
fired.
A warning shot is not shot at any time. A warning shot is shot when there is necessity. A warning shot is shot when there is proportionality. So those are the things that we have to cross. I'm not sure if I come in my car, stand in the middle of the road and just shoot. What necessitated that?
So you still maintain that the police officers just stood up in the middle of the road and
I
shot?
maintain that it is in the shootings that we have, but if it yes.
Maybe we have seen different videos, you know?
Well, it depends who gave you that video.
No, but I mean, if it's the
Then
same,
you
it
have
doesn't matter.
It is not there, but what I'm saying, at the beginning of the entire episode, if I may
Yes.
call it that,
Yeah.
that's what happened.
Okay.
Had you not shot that shot, I'm not sure where we would be.
So you are not talking about this one that we're seeing here, right?
I'm talking about this policeman.
Yeah, and I'm saying, are we talking about the same shot that was fired, the one that we see him firing here on this video?
I'm talking about one of the 3 shots he shot.
Okay, I hear that part. I'm saying, are we talking about the one that
The
we see?
same video or what?
No,
You're
no,
talking
the video
shot
is the same.
or
You're
no, the
confirming it's
second
the same.
shot he shot now was after the first shot.
Okay. Lut, welcome.
Thank you. A question firstly to the officer there.
Yes.
You said they were implementing bylaws.
Yeah.
Can he perhaps tell us, at all the other institutions where there were churchgoers, how many vehicles were impounded previously? And if the intentions were to implement the bylaws, don't you think out of courtesy, being a church organization and church-going members, they should have consulted with the heads of the church and tell them, listen, please inform your members that we are strictly going to be adhering or implementing or enforcing the bylaws of the town or the city. Please ensure that your members do not park where their vehicles would be impounded. Out of courtesy, this is a church institution that
Sure.
they're going to.
All right. Lut, thanks very much for that question. Wayne?
Yes, no, look, the impounding of vehicles has occurred at various churches or institutions, including mosques or synagogues, where there was vehicles parked contrary to the bylaw requirements, where vehicles were parked on pavements, where vehicles were parked within 5 meters of the intersection, where vehicles were double parked. So there have already been dozens and dozens of other vehicles towed away to the Metro Police Pound under those circumstances.
Now, are you going to stand by the people that have been charged, not arrested, charged?
We said we condemn any activity that happened yesterday. When you condemn something, you don't also stand by it. You condemn it in the strictest terms to say the law must take its course.
Okay. So you are not going to give them any sort of support whatsoever. Do you maintain that you are right and the JMPD is wrong in this case?
What I maintain is that the police started shooting when there was no provocation.
Hold it then. Wayne.
Yes.
Why did your officers shoot without provocation?
You see, one can look at this particular situation, and again, we must also consider the extent of danger that the officer was in at that point in time. Did the officer believe at that point that you was able to evade an attack? Did the officer believe that by talking to the attackers that the attack would stop? So he believed that the attack was not stopping. The attack was progressing. The attack was coming closer. In fact, the attack had already started when he shot into the air.
Was it an attack as such? Or did members of the church maybe want to talk, with the police officer?
What I saw is, after the first shot, people were enraged. And they went, whether they wanted to talk, shake hands or do what, it doesn't show that. Because the man was shoved. At that point, it was indeed, when that man charged towards him, he was actually saying, why are you shooting? Shoot me then. And then the police shot again.
So people wanted to die for parking, for, how much is an illegal clamping?
Well, the fine is 200 Rand, but to get the vehicle out of the pound is 2,600 Rand. Out of the pound, that's your pound fees.
And that's what people were willing to die for.
Well, it is not a matter of people wanting to die for parking or for cars being impounded. It was a matter of people reacting to the first shot that was not supposed to have happened.
Do you regret what happened yesterday?
It is very regrettable, and it was not supposed to happen.
Okay. Wayne, we must talk soon about the early Christmas that the JMPD is giving to all the residents of Johannesburg. I'm told you're scrapping all our fines.
Yes, no, that is really wishful thinking. However, we really want to get all the motorists to obey the road traffic regulations so that we can have less accidents this festive season.
Okay. Well, that was question time for today. A big thank you to my guests and to you for watching the show. From me and the crew, you have yourself a wonderful time. I'm Begot.
In the belly of the beast, the vulnerable are easy targets in the streets. Marauding gangs terrorize communities mercilessly. With no respect for human life. Animals are also not spared. The money business knows no boundaries. There is no respect for life. helpless communities silenced by their pain? Can their last defense be in time to the rescue? Special assignment Saturday at 5:30 p.m. when we unravel the truth.
Sports Live, Saturday and Sundays at 8:30 p.m.
Zwelini Lawrence Mkhize obtained his medical doctorate at the University of Zululand and practiced in Pietermaritzburg. Former MEC of Health, MEC for Finance and Economic Development in KwaZulu-Natal, former Premier of KwaZulu-Natal from 2009 to 2013. He initiated Operation Sukuma Sakhe, the One Home, One Garden program, which was adopted nationwide by government. Dr. Zweli Mkhize served as the Chancellor of the University of KwaZulu-Natal until 2017.
Using the advantage of knowledge and information to promote positive change in society at large.
He is the current Treasurer General of the African National Congress.
Out of the economy, we believe that our economy needs to deliver for us three things. One, there must be growth. Two, there must be jobs, job creation. Three, there must be radical economic transformation. And only a united African National Congress will be able to deliver on those where there's a undivided focus on the issue which is most topical and most relevant for this epoch, and that is the economic transformation